Reading through the Bible in a year, July 10th, Joshua 12 through 13, Psalm 145, Jeremiah chapter 6, and Matthew 20. Now, these are the kings of the land whom the people of Israel defeated, and took possession of their land beyond the Jordan toward the sunrise. From the valley of Arnon to Mount Hermon, with all the Arabah eastward, Sihon, king of the Amorites, who lived at Heshbon and ruled from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and from the middle of the valley, as far as the river Jabbok, the boundary of the Ammonites, that is, half of Gilead. And the Arabah, to the sea of Chinnereth, or Kinneroth, eastward, in the direction of Beth Jeshemoth, to the sea of the Arabah, the Salt Sea, southward to the foot of the slopes of Pisgah, and Og, king of Bashan, one of the remnants of the Rephaim, who lived at Ashtaroth at Edrei, and ruled over Mount Hermon, and Salekah, and all Bashan to the boundary of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and over half of Gilead to the boundary of Sihon, king of Heshbon. Moses, the servant of Yahweh, and all the people of Israel defeated them. And Moses, the servant of Yahweh, gave their land for a possession to the Reubenites and the Gadites and the half-tribe of Manasseh. And these are the kings of the land whom Joshua and the people of Israel defeated on the west side of the Jordan, from Baal-Gad in the valley of Lebanon to Mount Halak, that rises towards Seir. And Joshua gave their land to the tribes of Israel as a possession according to their allotment. In the hill country, in the lowland, in the Arabah, in the slopes, in the wilderness, in the Negeb, in the land of the Hivites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites. The king of Jericho, 1. King of Ai, which is beside Bethel, 1. The king of Jerusalem, 1. The king of Hebron, 1. The king of Jarmuth, 1. The king of Lachish, 1. The king of Eglon, 1. The king of Gezer, 1. The king of Debir, 1. The king of Gader, 1. The king of Hormah, 1. The king of Arad, 1. The king of Libnah, 1. The king of Adullam, 1. The king of Makkedah, 1. The king of Bethel, 1. The king of Tappuah, 1. The king of Hepher, 1. The king of Aphek, 1. The king of Lasharon, 1. The king of Madon, 1. The king of Hazor, 1. The king of Shemron Meron, 1. The king of Aksaph, 1. The king of Taanach, 1. The king of Megiddo, 1. The king of Kadesh, 1. The king of Jokneam in Carmel, 1. The king of Dor in Naphath Dor, 1. The king of Goim in Galilee, 1. The king of Tirzah, 1. In all, 31 kings. Now Joshua was old and advanced in years, and Yahweh said to him, "You are old and advanced in years, and there remains yet very much land to possess. This is the land that remains, all the regions of the Philistines, all those of the Geshurites, from Sihor, which is east of Egypt, northward to the boundary of Ekron. It is counted as Canaanite. There are 5 rulers of the Philistines, those of Gaza, Ashdod, Ashkelon, Gath, and Ekron, and those of the Avim. In the south, all the land of the Canaanites, and Mearah that belongs to the Sidonians, to Aphek, to the boundary of the Amorites, and all the land of the Gebalites, and all Lebanon toward the sunrise, from Baal-Gad to Mount Hermon, to Lebo-Hamath, and all the inhabitants of the hill country, from Lebanon to Mizraphoth-Maim, even all the Sidonians. I myself will drive them out from before the people of Israel. Only allot the land to Israel for an inheritance, as I have commanded you. Now, therefore, divide this land for an inheritance to the 9 tribes and the half-tribe of Manasseh." There's a map in the center here that covers all of the land that's divided. Verse 8. With the other half-tribe of Manasseh, the Reubenites, the Gadites, received their inheritance, which Moses gave them, beyond the Jordan eastward, as Moses, the servant of Yahweh, gave them, from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and of the city, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the tableland of Medeba as far as Dibon. and all the cities of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the boundary of the Ammonites, and Gilead, and all the region of the Geshurites and the Maacathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan to Salekah, and all the kingdom of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Ashtaroth, and in Edrei. He alone was left of the remnant of the Rephaim. These Moses had struck and driven out. Yet the people of Israel did not drive out the Geshurites or the Maacathites, but Geshur and Maacath dwell in the midst of Israel to this day. To the tribe of Levi, Moses gave no inheritance. The offerings by fire to Yahweh, God of Israel, are their inheritance, as he said to him. And Moses gave an inheritance to the tribe of the people of Reuben according to their clans. So their territory was from Aroer, which is on the edge of the valley of the Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the valley, and all the tableland by Medeba, with Heshbon and all its cities that are in the tableland, Dibon, Bamoth Baal, and Beth Baal Maon, and Jahaz, and Kedemoth, and Mephath, and Kiriathaim, and Sibmah, and Zereth Shahar on the hill of the valley, and Beth Peor, and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Jeshemoth, that is, all the cities of the tableland, and all the kingdom of Sihon, king of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, whom Moses defeated with the leaders of Midian, Evi, or Evi, and Rechem, and Zur, and Hur, and Reba, the princes of Sihon, who lived in the land. Balaam also, the son of Beor, who practiced divination, was killed by the sword by the people of Israel among the rest of their slain. And the border of the people of Reuben, there we go, making sure we don't lose any notes here. Continuing on, verse 23. And the border of the people of Reuben was the Jordan as a boundary. This was the inheritance of the people of Reuben, according to their clans with their cities and villages. Moses gave an inheritance also to the tribe of Gad, and to the people of Gad according to their clans. Their territory was Jazer, and all the cities of Gilead, half the land of the Ammonites, to Aroer, which is east of Rabbah, and from Heshbon to Ramoth Mizpah, and Betonim, and from Mahanaim to the territory of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haram, Beth Nimrah, Succoth, and Zaphon, with the rest of the kingdom of Sihon, king of Heshbon, having the Jordan as a boundary to the lower end of the sea of Chinnereth or Kinnereth, eastward beyond the Jordan. This is the inheritance of the people of Gad according to their clans, with their cities and villages. And Moses gave an inheritance to the half-tribe of Manasseh. It was allotted to the half-tribe of the people of Manasseh according to their clans. Their region extended from Mahanaim through all Bashan, the whole kingdom of Og, king of Bashan, and all the towns of Jair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities, and half Gilead, and Ashtaroth, and Edrei, the cities of Og, the cities of the kingdom of Og in Bashan. These were allotted to the people of Machir, the son of Manasseh, for the half of the people of Machir according to their clans. These are the inheritances that Moses distributed in the plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan, east of Jericho. But to the tribe of Levi, Moses gave no inheritance. Yahweh, God of Israel, is their inheritance, just as he said to them. Now, Psalm 145. I will extol you, my God and King, and bless your name forever and ever. Every day I will bless you and praise your name forever and ever. Great is Yahweh, and greatly to be praised, and his greatness is unsearchable. One generation shall commend your works to another, and shall declare your mighty acts. On the righteous splendor of your majesty, on your wondrous works I will meditate. They shall speak of the might of your awesome deeds, and I will declare your greatness. They shall pour forth the fame of your abundant goodness, and shall sing aloud of your righteousness. Yahweh is gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abounding in steadfast love. Yahweh is good to all, and his mercy is over all that he has made. All your works shall give thanks to you, O Yahweh, and all your saints shall bless you. They shall speak of the glory of your kingdom and tell of your power, to make known to the children of man your mighty deeds and the glorious splendor of your kingdom. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. As a note here, this bracketed section that we don't see this very often in the ESV. The ESV is pretty good at removing these sections that are most commonly not found in the oldest manuscripts. They tend to just remove it entirely to make it easy. This is one of those sections where it's in some but not others. So reading from the note on this, these two lines, those surrounded by the square brackets, are supplied by one Hebrew manuscript, Septuagint in Syriac. Compare against the Dead Sea Scrolls. That line, or the two lines, Yahweh is faithful in all his works, and kind in all his works. Now, as we normally do as we read through these, I'm going to read through the text with that part omitted as well. Back to verse 13. Your kingdom is an everlasting kingdom, and your dominion endures throughout all generations. Yahweh upholds all who are falling, and raises up all who are bowed down. The eyes of all look to you, and you give them their food in due season. You open your hand, you satisfy the desire of every living thing. Yahweh is righteous in all his ways, and kind in all his works. Yahweh is near to all who call on him in truth. He fulfills the desire of those who fear him. He also hears their cry and saves them. Yahweh preserves all who love him, but all the wicked he will destroy. My mouth will speak the praise of Yahweh. Let all flesh bless his holy name forever and ever. Now Jeremiah chapter 6. Flee for safety, O people of Benjamin, from the midst of Jerusalem. Blow the trumpet in Tekoa and raise a signal on Beth Hakerem, for disaster looms out of the north and great destruction. The lovely and delicately bred I will destroy, the daughter of Zion. Shepherds with their flocks shall come against her. They shall pitch their tents around her. They shall pasture, each in his place. Prepare war against her. Arise, let us attack at noon. Woe to us, for the day declines, for the shadows of evening lengthen. Arise, let us attack by night and destroy her palaces. For thus says Yahweh of hosts, cut down her trees, cast up a siege mound against Jerusalem. This is the city that must be punished. There is nothing but oppression within her. As a well keeps its water fresh, so she keeps fresh her evil. Violence and destruction are heard within her. Sickness and wounds are ever before me. Be warned, O Jerusalem, lest I turn from you in disgust, lest I make you a desolation, an uninhabited land. Thus says Yahweh of hosts, they shall glean thoroughly as a vine the remnant of Israel. Like a grape gatherer, pass your hand again over its branches. To whom shall I speak and give warning that they may hear? Behold, their ears are uncircumcised. They cannot listen. Behold, the word of Yahweh is to them an object of scorn. They take no pleasure in it. Therefore, I am full of the wrath of Yahweh. I am weary of holding it in. Pour it out upon the children in the street and upon the gatherings of young men. Also, both husband and wife shall be taken, the elderly and the very aged. Their houses shall be turned over to others, their fields and wives together. For I will stretch out my hand against the inhabitants of the land, declares Yahweh. For from the least to the greatest of them, everyone is greedy for unjust gain. And from prophet to priest, everyone deals falsely. They have healed the wound of my people lightly, saying, peace, peace, when there is no peace. Were they ashamed when they committed abomination? No, they were not at all ashamed. They did not know how to blush. Therefore they shall fall among those who fall. At the time that I punish them, they shall be overthrown, says Yahweh. Thus says Yahweh, stand by the roads and look, and ask for the ancient paths, where is the good way? Or rather, where the good way is, and walk in it. Find rest for your souls. But they said, we will not walk in it. And I set a watchman over you, saying, pay attention to the sound of the trumpet. But they said, we will not pay attention. Therefore, hear, O nations, and know, O congregation, what will happen to them. Hear, O earth, behold, I am bringing disaster upon this people, the fruit of their devices, because they have not paid attention to my words. And as for my law, they have rejected it. What use to me is frankincense that comes from Sheba, or sweet cane from a distant land? Your burnt offerings are not acceptable, nor your sacrifices pleasing to me. Therefore, thus says Yahweh, behold, I will lay before this people stumbling blocks against which they shall stumble. Fathers and sons together, neighbor and friend shall perish. Thus says Yahweh, behold, a people is coming from the north country. A great nation is stirring from the farthest parts of the earth. They lay hold on bow and javelin. They are cruel and have no mercy. The sound of them is like the roaring sea. They ride on horses, set in array as a man for battle. Against you, O daughter of Zion. We have heard the report of it. Our hands fall helpless. Anguish has taken hold of us, pain as of a woman in labor. Go not out into the field, nor walk on the road, for the enemy has a sword. Terror is on every side. O daughter of my people, put on sackcloth, and roll in ashes. Make mournings as for an only son, most bitter lamentation. For suddenly the destroyer will come upon us. I have made you a tester of metals among my people, that you may know and test their ways. They are all stubbornly rebellious, going about with slanders. They are bronze and iron. All of them act corruptly. The bellows blow fiercely. The lead is consumed by the fire. In vain the refining goes on. For the wicked are not removed. Rejected silver they are called, for Yahweh has rejected them. Concluding today in Matthew chapter 20. For the kingdom of heaven is like a master of a house who went out early in the morning to hire laborers for his vineyard. After agreeing with the laborers for a denarius a day, he sent them into his vineyard. And going out about the third hour, he saw others standing idle in the marketplace. So this starts at 6 a.m. We're now at the third hour, which is about 9-ish. And he said to them, you go into the vineyard too, and whatever is right I will give you. So they went. Going out again about the 6th hour and the 9th hour, so noon and 3 p.m., he did the same. And at about the 11th hour, looking 5 p.m.-ish, he went out and found others standing, and he said to them, why do you stand here idle all day? They said to him, because no one has hired us. So he said to them, you go into the vineyard as well. When evening came, the owner of the vineyard said to his foreman, call the laborers and pay them their wages, beginning with the last up to the first. When those who were hired about the 11th hour came, each of them received a denarius. Now, on receiving it, now when those hired first came, they thought they would receive more, but each of them also received a denarius. And on receiving it, they grumbled at the master of the house, saying, these last worked only 1 hour, and you have made them equal to us, who have borne the burden of the day and the scorching heat? But he replied to one of them, friend, I am doing you no wrong. Did you not agree with me for a denarius? Take what belongs to you and go. I choose to give to this last worker as I give to you. Am I not allowed to do what I choose with what belongs to me? Or do you begrudge my generosity? So the last will be first, and the first shall be last. And as Jesus was going up to Jerusalem, he took the 12 disciples aside. This is, again, separate from the regular group of disciples. That's all the people who were following him. He took the 12 aside. And on the way, he said to them, see, we are going up to Jerusalem. And the Son of Man will be delivered over to the chief priests and the scribes, and they will condemn him to death and deliver him over to the Gentiles to be mocked and flogged and crucified. And he'll be raised on the third day. Once again, as they have been as everybody has been in expectation that the Mashiach, the Messiah of God, will come, and that he will be, as the religious leaders had described him, a conquering king, a political leader, perhaps a military leader. He's instead continually telling them that he is going to be a different kind of deliverer. So that's what we see here. Jesus is warning them, knowing full well that they're expecting him to come as this great conquering king. Like, I'm not. Not this time, he's not coming in that way, but he's warning them about this ahead of time. But because everybody so expects Jesus to be like that, we see the same type of requests coming through, like this mother's request. Now, as a note here, as we see on the side, this is not the mother. Sorry, Salome, this woman who we're about to read, was not only the mother of the sons of Zebedee, she was also in probability the sister of Mary, Jesus' mother. So that James and John were in fact Jesus' cousins. She was among the women who stayed with Jesus at the cross later and witnessed the empty tomb with her sons. We read this in Mark 10, 35 through 37. And it focuses on the sons themselves and reports her request as their words. That's what Mark does. So that's an inconsistency we see in the text. She says it or the sons say it. We don't know which. Most likely they knew that this came from the sons, or it was from the mother to the sons. So it doesn't really matter who it was who said it to Jesus. The fact is the statement was given, and then Jesus replies the same way in both. Now to verse 20. Then the mother of the sons of Zebedee came up to him with her sons, and kneeling before him, she asked him for something. And he said to her, "What do you want?" She said to him, "Say to these two sons of mine, say that these are to sit, one at your right hand and one at your left in your kingdom." Basically, she's saying, make my children, who are also your disciples, make them the first two important people within all of the kingdom that you're creating. Basically saying, make this one Speaker of the House and make this one your vice president, in American terms. Verse 22. Jesus answered, "You do not know what you are asking. Are you able to drink the cup that I am to drink?" And they said to him, "We are able." So again, they think it's going to be, we're going to get to rule over a kingdom. I can drink from that cup all day long. They're missing the fact that he is the suffering servant. And Jesus said to them, "You will drink my cup, but to sit at my right hand or my left is not mine to grant, but it is for those whom it has been prepared by my Father." When the 10 heard it, they were indignant at the two brothers. But Jesus called them to him and said, "You know that the rulers of the Gentiles lord it over them, and their great ones exercise authority over them. It shall not be so among you, but whoever would be great among you must be your servant, and whoever would be first among you must be your slave. Even as the Son of Man came not to serve, but rather not to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." And as they all went out of Jericho, a great crowd followed him. And behold, there were two blind men sitting beside the roadside. And when they heard that Jesus was passing by, they cried out, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. Again, that messianic title. The crowd rebuked them, telling them to be silent, but they cried out all the more, Lord, have mercy on us, Son of David. Stopping, Jesus called them and said, What do you want me to do for you? They said, Lord, let our eyes be opened. And Jesus, in pity, touched their eyes, and immediately they recovered their sight and followed him. That's it for today. That is all the reading and all of the notes. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow. Behold, the word of the Lord.